In a bid to bring the fight to Russia and increase domestic pressure on the Kremlin, Ukraine has escalated its tempo of drone attacks against Moscow, marking a significant shift in the ongoing war. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky emphasized this development in a recent speech, following a drone attack that shattered the facade of a Moscow skyscraper. While Kyiv has not officially claimed responsibility for many of the attacks, it appears that targeted strikes are being used strategically to confuse and divide Russia while Ukraine continues its counteroffensive against Moscow's invading forces. The approach of employing drone attacks inside Russian territory is considered by some experts to be more effective in pressuring Russian allies compared to conventional counteroffensives within Ukraine's sovereign territory. The drone strikes began in May and have targeted military sites and business districts within Moscow. This week, Moscow experienced 2 drone strikes in the span of 2 days, both of which the Kremlin denounced as terrorist attacks. While the attacks have not inflicted significant casualties, they have reportedly induced panic among Russian oligarchs. It is suspected that Ukraine is employing a network of saboteur agents embedded inside Russia to carry out the drone attacks. These agents are allegedly using Beaver kamikaze drones, which are about the size of a small vehicle and have a range of at least 600 miles. In addition to targeting Moscow, the drone attacks have been launched in Russian regions bordering Ukraine, in the illegally annexed Crimean Peninsula, and on Russian ships in the Black Sea. The increased drone attacks are expected to prompt Russia to intensify efforts to dismantle the shadowy networks responsible for them. Russian military blogger Alexander Kots called for the identification and detention of Ukrainian agents and sympathizers involved in the attacks. Experts, however, highlight that dismantling such covert networks can be challenging, given their historical prevalence in warfare. Matthew Buleg, a consulting fellow for the Russia and Eurasia program at Chatham House, explained that these shadow operations have likely been embedded within Russian territory since the conflict's inception, conducting classic infiltration and subversion operations throughout history. While Ukraine argues that the drone strikes on Russian soil are a legitimate act of self-defense in response to Russia's frequent missile strikes on Ukrainian territory, there are concerns about potential ramifications on Ukraine's moral high ground in the conflict. Critics across Western governments have expressed worries that the drone strike tactic might give them an excuse to push Ukraine into negotiations with Russia. Despite the controversy surrounding the attacks, Washington has refrained from discussing them openly. The United States has emphasized its focus on providing security assistance to Ukraine within its sovereign borders, avoiding direct involvement in the drone strike issue. As the conflict continues, it remains evident that both Ukraine and Russia are willing to take whatever measures they deem necessary to secure their nation's survival and protect their people in the ongoing war.